Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. I'm your host, Kyle David. If you didn't know, now you know. Thanks for tuning back in. This week, I'm stealing what I want to talk about from Chris Heaslip, if you know who that is. He was on the One Shot podcast with Darren Woodson, and they were asking him about he's had 14 failed businesses before he had a successful one. And he said something that someone told him that really stuck with me, and I've been thinking about it since last night. He said, double your rate of failure if you want to succeed. Like if you want to succeed, you got to double your rate of failure. No one's going to avoid failure. That's really the idea, is you can't avoid it. The more you fail, the quicker you'll get to success. So if you can double your rate of failure, the quicker you'll get to success. The more you fail. And that's so counter or anti what most people desire, think, or want. I don't want to fail. Well, you don't want to fail, right? The goal in life is to not fail, right? Quote unquote, like it's to not fail. That's kind of what we think is like, we want to be successful, but we don't realize that the path to success is a lot of failure. And so that stuck with me. To double your rate of failure will get you to success quicker. And I know that's true, man. I know that's right. Because, man, my life has been, oh, sorry if the audio wasn't there. Good. Yeah, man, my life has been a lot of failures, not even intentional. Like, I'm not going to take credit for like, man, I intentionally was failing. No, I was just failing at a lot of things. But those failures have put me on a much quicker path to success, whatever that means to you. I know what that means to me. And so there's been a lot of successes, small successes and opportunities because of the things that I've failed at. Because and the whole idea behind doubling your rate of failure isn't just like once you fail X amount of times, then obviously you have to be successful. No, it's failing is where the learnings happen. And so that's really the idea, is that failure is where the learnings happen. If you want to succeed, you got to learn quick. And how do you learn quick? You fail quick. So that's really the idea of doubling your rate of failure. Shout out to Chris. So that's what I want to talk about real quick today, is because that's something that I've really been thinking about a lot in a much higher level way. And when he said that, I was like, that's it. That's what I've been thinking about, is I'm like, man, I need to do something more. And what is it more? And I was like, I just need to fail some more at some certain things. And it's just failure by doing, right? You just need to do more. It's not like, hey, make sure you fail. It's like, no, do your absolute best, but just do more and more and more. So as you fail, you learn, and it's quicker and quicker, and it just compounds and puts you on a path quicker to success. Again, whatever success means to you and whatever you're doing. But yeah, it's the learnings piece of failure that really is why you want to double your rate of failure. You want to fail more so you can learn more and you learn quicker. And yeah, it's like in my life personally, like dealing with substance abuse or just a lot of bad choices. Those failures, there was a lot of lessons that came with that. So it's like, yes, those were really bad. And it wasn't like I was seeking out those failures to learn, but just a byproduct of failing in relationships or in life, which I've done both, has been a lot of learnings. So there's a lot of learnings. And I think once you are able to kind of get to a place where you can look at your mistakes and your failures objectively and just be like, all right, what were the lessons? Then you really start to compound like your momentum. You really do. You start to compound your momentum as far as what you're learning and then what you can implement in your life to kind of push you towards what you want. It's just it's a higher rate of your that's the word, momentum. Your momentum in life just really speeds up when you're able to just look at all the failures, flaws, relationships, all the things that didn't work and pick the learnings out of them. You just put yourself on a much quicker path towards those things. Right. Again, relationships, business, money, whatever it is that you're looking for. If you can look at the things you failed at, whether it's financially, relationships or whatever, and take the learnings, you'll get the other things much quicker. Right. It's just starts to become a snowball effect. And you start to create this habit of like I went back to the gym this week, as a lot of you know. And the second day back, I hurt my back. I went into it way too hard. My back hurts. That's such an old man thing to say. My back hurts, but my back does hurt. And I went back and hurt my back on Tuesday, and it'll heal. I just got to rest it. But that was a quick learning right there, a quick failure and a quick lesson of like, all right, I got to ease back into this. So the learning right there is like, right, I got to ease back into this. I got to pivot the way I was going to go about working out. It has to look completely different. And I learned that, boom, right away. So next week, hopefully when I'm able to go back, my workouts are going to look completely different. Quick learning, quick failure, right? That failure was quick. It was unintentional, but it was quick, and lesson learned really quickly. And just like as someone in sales and in business, like a lot of people in sales and business know this, like you just need reps, right? There's a lot of failures. Not everybody you talk to wants to talk to you, wants to buy your product, has any interest in your business, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to just continue next, right? And every time you and every time you market your business differently, or you talk to someone, or you try to sell a product and you get a no, you usually learn something, right? Next, and you get better and better and better. But the people that are scared, they're like, I don't want to make people feel weird or try to sell them something, or I don't want to market my business because it feels like I'm asking for things. Well, great. Then you're not going to get anything, right? Like you're not going to learn anything, and you're not going to get any traction. So again, back to the idea of like double your failure rate. Do more. Don't be afraid to fail. And I know that's easier said than done. Like failure is not something that anybody, I was listening to somebody last night, and they were saying that the people that you think are just the most mentally tough people, they're no different than you and I, but it's when they have those thoughts that are like, you can't do this, or you're going to fail, or whatever, they're still scared, but they just choose to be like, you're right, but I'm going to do it anyways. Not you're right. I don't know why I said that, but they recognize, they're just able, the most mentally tough people are able to recognize those negative thoughts and just press on anyways. It's not that they don't have them. I think we think that these people that we see as mentally tough or as like super successful and they don't struggle mentally, they do. No one's just conquered their own mind, right? No one's God. No one has conquered their own mind to where they're just, I'm the master of my own mind, even though people will tell you that. No, they're not. But they just make the choice to press in anyways. And that goes right along with the idea of just doubling your failure rate. The only way to double your failure rate is to be able to look fear in the face and like, I am super scared, or I'm super nervous to talk to this person or pursue this relationship or sell this product or market this, whatever. And you do it anyways, right? Like getting back to Chris, he started 14 businesses before the one that took off. And I'm sure he was scared every time. I'll ask him. I'm sure if you know him, you can ask him if he was scared every time. I'm sure he was, but he did it anyway. So it's like failing and choosing to fail and learn isn't because you're not scared. Everyone's scared. We're all scared of things that are scary. That's why they're called scary things, because they're scary. So it's not like anyone has conquered fear. Again, you're not God. You haven't conquered fear. But there are people that are able to be scared and do things anyways. And I'm not saying I'm one of them. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Many times I'm not. But you have to flex the muscle of being like, hey, I'm scared and I'm doing it anyways. I'm uncomfortable, I'm doing it anyways. I don't like being around big groups of people for long periods of time, but I'm going to do it anyways because there's something I want there, right? Whether it's X, Y, or Z, I don't know. But again, I'm not going to talk for a long time because I think this one is self-explanatory, but did want to come on because it really struck me. Again, I've been thinking about it since I slept last night, but in between, once I heard it last night, I've been thinking about it from that point until I went to bed. And then I woke up and I kept thinking about it, of doubling your rate of failure. And then that other person, can't remember who said it, that was talking about people that have become mentally tough. They're no different. They haven't conquered fear. They haven't mastered their mind, or whatever the world or culture would tell you is master your mind and conquer your fears. No. Everyone's still scared. You may be able to become more accustomed to fear, but you can't eradicate fear from your life. But you can just choose to still do things that are scary, right? The most successful people have just chosen to keep doing things that are uncomfortable or scary. And it doubles their rate of failure, which doubles their rate of learning, which puts them on a path to success much quicker. So I think the idea there is whatever you want, figure that out, or you probably know. And then you just have to reverse engineer everything and do things that will put you on that path, even when you fail, even when it's scary, it doesn't work. You just have to keep going, keep going. I talked to my friend Sydney yesterday. She's doing 75 hard, if you know what that is. And she had like this moment. She sent me like this voice message, this moment where she was like, yeah, you just have to, I can't remember exactly how she said it, but she was like, I get it. Like, you just have to keep going when you don't want to keep going. And it's like, yeah, that's the unlock of discipline, is like, you just keep going even when you don't want to, it's uncomfortable or whatever. You just keep going, but then you start to realize like, oh, the only difference between me and the most successful people is they just keep going, and they just keep going, and they just keep going. They fail, they keep going. They fail, they keep going. They don't want to, they keep going. They don't want to, they keep going. And they learn and they learn and they get better and they get better. And you're like, how did they get so successful so quick? It's not magic. It's not anything you can't do or I can't do, right? Like Chris is a genius. Like, he's smart, super smart dude, but it's not like he's superhuman and you and I couldn't also build massive businesses or create impact or whatever it is you want to do. The man just continued to keep going, continued to keep failing, and just kept his eye on what he wanted and knew that part of it was going to be fail, learn over and over and over. It's really it. It's just, I talked to someone recently, and I've said this a million times. I really believe it. Life is not super complicated. We make it complicated, but life is not super complicated, but it is hard, right? So the unlock to life is just refusing to quit. Keep going, being okay with failing, knowing that in every failure, there's a lesson. I was talking to somebody recently at work about this, is that in every failure, there's a lesson. So actually a failure is, again, that's the whole idea, is that failures, if you fail and there's no lesson in it, like, you just didn't look hard enough, or you're just playing the victim and you're focused so much on the failure and how bad it is that you haven't taken the time to evaluate it and be like, what was the lesson? Every time something bad happens to you, there's a lesson. I hurt my back this week, and immediate was like, oh yeah, I need to have a much better workout strategy than just go in and grab all the weights, right? That's an immediate lesson if you're looking for it. Everything, I had surgeries last year, the year before, and I knew immediately there was a lesson. And it wasn't always obvious, but if you just look, there's always a lesson in the hard things. Life is not super complicated. It's really not, right? Like on the podcast last night, Chris was talking about in business, really just setting up processes and systems and then replicating it over and over as you grow the business. So it's not complicated. It's just systematic. It's just hard. It's just really hard. And that's life too. Like, life is not super complicated. It's really not. And if you disagree, hit me up. We have a dialogue. Life is not super complicated. You can make it complicated, but it's really not complicated, but it's really, really hard, right? Like, wake up, eat, do hard things, move, take action towards the things you want. Like, that's pretty simple. And the details of it are even more simple, because you just put habits and routines and learn, and but it's just really hard. So there's a difference there. So anyways, that's the idea. You get it. Double your failure rate to accelerate your success. That's really it. Like, I'm taking that to heart, like, so hard. This next week is going to be wild as I implement some of that just mindset of like, I'm just going to throw more things at the wall, do more crazy hard things. And it's, if it just falls flat, great. There's lessons, and it's just getting me closer to where I want to be. And same for you. If you know what you want, then just attack those things head on. You're going to be scared. Like, if you're not scared, you're not doing things that are hard. You're going to be scared, and you just have to choose to keep going anyways. Again, that's the only thing that separates the most successful people from those that remain average. The successful people are just as scared as you, but they want it so bad. They're like, I'm going to do the scary thing. I'm going to do the scary thing. So I'll leave it at that. I like that. Do the scary thing. Double your rate of failure to accelerate your success by doing the scary things anyways. So thanks for listening. I felt like that was just one long rant without a breath. Thank you guys for listening. It's been another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. I'll be back next time. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.